read some of this history bullshit.
I like it. You know what? We learned about watches with them. It's cool.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Patrick.
I'm Adam.
And this is Clock,
Stock,
and Barrel, where we deliver the facts on everything watch related.
With a gun.
Hey, exactly. At gunpoint. You take what we say. There's no other truth. Guys, today we're going to talk about, of course, what's in the subject line of this video. It's whether you need a chronograph or not.
Yeah. So for this occasion, I'm wearing no chronograph at all. Incidentally, I actually don't own a chronograph right now.
At this moment. And you know what's funny? You had the granddaddy of chronographs. You had the Omega. It's the Seamaster in Space Edition.
Speedmaster.
Speedmaster. I said Seamaster, didn't I?
You did. The Space
both territories I'm never going to chart. You know, it's guys, but you've owned a whole variety of chronographs.
Yeah.
And now guys, the chronographs, whether or not you need them, that's a tough question. They've all, throughout history, chronographs have been used for a particular task. They are the epitome of a tool watch and probably, genuinely, the most used today. Guys, I'm wearing my own modern chronograph. I say modern. This is a little bit older kinetic-based chronograph that Seiko made a little while ago. It's from their Sportura lineup. This is the SNL 015, the 015. Okay, guys, so this is, apparently it touts a ceramic bezel. I don't believe that. But that's what it said when I purchased it so long ago. But what's interesting on it is it tracks 45 minutes. That's the top right register you're looking at. There's a seconds register at the top left. And at the bottom, you have your time. And of course, the rest of the dial, tachometer on bezel, and then 60-minute increment, seconds increment on the dial itself. And it's all there for the chrono hand. Okay, so this is a chronograph, a watch as they come. I'm not going to talk about the specs of this piece. It's a little bit of an oddity from Seiko, but I absolutely loved it, and I'll tell you why I bought this chronograph, and it's a staple in my collection. I absolutely love the allure of chronographs. I time a few things in my life. They don't need to be accurate to a fifth of a second, but they can be on this watch. And it's just a gorgeous watch. It is the opposite of vanilla, and if you watch our channel, you know I hate vanilla watches. That is to say,
I like
something
chocolate watches. They tasty.
Yeah, they're super tasty. What I mean by that is I like to have something unique that isn't going to be in everyone's collection, and something with a teardrop sapphire crystal chronograph, display is right up my alley. And that's one of the reasons I kept this watch in my collection. But also it's accurate to 10 seconds a year and has a 5-month power reserve. So thank you, Seiko. Now guys, chronographs, do you need them? You know what? I think on a day-to-day basis, it's a great feature to have. Most people use their dive watches with their bezels as their timers for certain functions day-to-day. And you and I both, I'm sure. I think that's what a majority of dive watches, those bezels are used for, a 60-minute timer, right? Yeah. And which is already surpassing my little SNL Sportura here, because this only times up to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I wish I had that bezel.
I know, right? So what's interesting, guys, is I actually learned this in the process of creating this video. The first actual chronograph was created in 1821 by a French watchmaker. It was used actually to time horse races. Much like, in the 50s and 60s, chronographs were used to time car races. And then,
that's when that tachometer scale was invented, guys.
The wristwatch chronograph was first produced in 1913, and it was actually created by Longines, and it was a mono pusher chronograph. And then later on, 2 years later, Breitling released one, followed by Universal Genève in 1917. And then I guess kind of where a lot of it happened.
With like commercial popularity.
Yeah.
Up until that point, they were used in aviation, they were used in war. I'm sure you've seen those ones with the interesting radial scales that track the distance of like bombardments from mortar shells, things like that.
Right.
There are so many chronographs in history for a particular task, but the ones that really I think rung a bell for a commercial community was your racing inspired chronographs.
Yeah, and in the 50s, in '58, Heuer started the first chronograph with a rotating tachymeter. And in 1967, the rotating tachymeter bezel made its first appearance in the Heuer Octavia, which is. They're going for ridiculous. The originals are going for ridiculous prices right now.
And you're probably familiar with the Heuer Monaco. I mean, there's so many celebrity watches.
Oh yeah, that are Carrera, all of the Heuers. There's so much racing heritage with Heuer. And then in 1969, the first auto chrono came out, which was kind of interesting. There were three groups competing to release the first auto chrono, and in a secret joint venture. Heuer, Breitling, Buren, and Dubois de Praz, they created the Caliber 11. So that was the first autochrono in 1969. And this is all from Crown and Caliber's history. So that's kind of a brief overview of the growth of chronographs.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful lineage, and a watch that, in a practical sense, for the modern consumer, probably isn't as useful for functionality as it is just for aesthetics.
That's all it is. In my opinion, that's all it is.
Now the thing is that I own a chronograph, and I told you why. I absolutely love this piece for its aesthetic. I love the integrated bracelet, and I do use its functions. I'm an actor in New York City, and it allows me to time monologue readings. It also just helps me regulate my day-to-day when I say I'm going to spend 30 minutes on this task, and I can rely on this watch to properly calculate 30 minutes for me. Now I'm sure I could do that with my cell phone and whatnot, but I'm typically using my cell phone for script. That doesn't matter. But for me, I absolutely love having a chronograph for at least that one function, and it justified having one in my collection. And the thing is, it's like, I didn't spend a whole heck of a lot, but there are watches out there that, you guys know the Rolex Daytona. And there's so many chronographs that are so expensive, exceedingly expensive, that probably never have those pushers pushed.
Yeah.
But you had the Seamaster.
I had a Speedmaster.
Yeah, the Speedmaster.
I had a Tudor
Tiger
Prince, which is basically Tudor's version of the Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would.
But it's like a dive-worthy chronograph.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of unique functionality there.
I would push them. For fun.
Yeah.
But you know what though? That's the thing, is the reason I don't really own a chronograph now is because when I actually want to time something, do you know what I use? I use diving bezels. That's my thing. For me it's just easier to just spin the dial, where it needs to be or where time starts, and then just look at the time that has passed. For me, honestly, looking at a chronograph, punching the numbers and then kind of seeing how much time has passed, usually subdials are so damn small.
Oh, so...
that you might look at it really quickly and you're like, shit, is that 3 minutes or is that 4 minutes?
I mean, look at this, look at the third register up there at the top right. I mean, guys, you know what I mean? They did a really good job fitting everything into this watch, but it is a silly small register.
Yeah.
And what's funny is this register, that top right to track the minutes, it's actually big. That's actually a bigger register than you'll find on most other chronographs.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
From a practical standpoint, even this feels a little impractical.
Yeah. I want to be able to glance at it really quickly and be like, oh yeah, 15 minutes passed. Or oh, French press coffee. Oh, boom, that's 4 minutes. That's so easy to see on a big diving bezel. Yeah. But those chronographs, they look freaking sweet, right?
Yeah.
I think aesthetically they look so cool.
The more dials on my dial, the better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, triple dials?
But it's not even that.
Sub-dials?
I would prefer 2 subdials every time. But it's just those extra pushers that add a cool little element to it, Mm-hmm. And what's funny too is most people, this is actually a great point, most people that purchase chronographs have absolutely no idea what they are. I remember I knew a girl back at my old work. Her boyfriend got her a Burberry watch or something, and they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on with the seconds hand. Yeah. And I explained the chronograph function to her and showed her, and she was like, "Oh my god, we were sitting for 15 minutes with this thing trying to figure out what second hand was what if it wasn't working."
Yeah.
And people just don't people don't even know what it is, And like for them, if the chronographs work,
Burberry. I wonder if Burberry makes good chronographs.
For the general population, it's like, oh, it looks cool. There's a lot of shit on it, and it's cool.
Yeah,
so,
and for a practical standpoint, you can do most of the timing, like, I don't know, my day-to-day functions, like the example I gave you earlier, it probably could be tracked on something else just as easily.
Yeah.
So is it practical? Yes, you have it on your wrist. If you're a gent who likes to wear a watch like we do, you're going to have it on your wrist. It's nice to have there. But, I generally don't use it as often as I would use a diver for timing something, and that's just a fact. And I think most of the people that use chronographs practically in a workplace setting, either for aviation or I guess diving, but I mean, even divers have something better, a better alternative. They're not going to be concerned with the subject matter in this video today, or because they would be using it for that task. But for a consumer, it's hard to justify a chronograph.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's why. I mean, you still want a Speedmaster.
I do, but I don't want it as much as I did want it now. I could. One day I'll have a Speedmaster again.
Speedmasters too, though.
Well, that's true. I had one moon watch, but then I had a couple different reduced variants.
Yeah, and there's a lot of variety out there, and that's what Omega is like, just counting those dollars with all the different variants of their Speedmaster.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's great. They're real crowd
pleasers. It's an icon.
It's a true icon, but what's sad is when you look at the chronograph's heritage and you see all the purposes it was used for, it seems so tragically flawed to have in a collection where it's never going to be used to time to a tenth of a second, it's meant to be. Yeah, it's definitely, and I can totally understand there's a lot of people that have maybe chronograph only, collections, but if they might be after racing inspired watches. That might be their thing. They love the history, and they can associate different races, monumental races in history with a certain watch. That's cool. I can totally understand that. But and if you just like the aesthetic, sure, but in terms of what it's made for, timekeeping, I'd rather keep time on a dive watch. Because when I actually time things in real life, it's never, all right, I'm going to do this in 1 minute and 52 seconds. It's oh, I got about 15 minutes till I got to be here, or 20 minutes till I got to do this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Just set it and watch it go, I don't need to be down to the 10th of a second, or even a second, really. So. Well, that's what gets me about, it's guys, it's all a luxury, Yeah, that's very true. it's all, at the end of the day, it's all a luxury that we even have these functions on our wrist. Yeah. And whether or not you like that aesthetic, I think really drives whether you purchase that watch or not. So far as our opinion is concerned, I don't think a chronograph is absolutely necessary, but I certainly love the functionalities and looks of this one, so it's a staple. I'm always going to have a chronograph. Oh, you know what? I do have a chronograph. I have 2 G-Shocks. And that's the only thing I'll ever use to really count something down to the second, because it's something I can see in a digital display. Oh my, it's funny. I have a Timex I use at the gym, and if I'm taking a rest or something, or I'm, I'll use that to time 30 seconds. But never an actual chronograph. I would buy Daytona and be like, yeah, exactly. Take 20 seconds before I get back to the race. Yeah, right? That's probably the only time I've practically used a chronograph. Yep. To time something that was essential to me. Mm-hmm. So there you go, and I bet you guys out there, if you're watching this, you probably have a Frogman, or you have a Casio. Someone has a G-Shock. Yeah, you got. They don't even remember that they had a chronograph, Yeah. Because we're talking about the context of more, steel analog type watches rather than digital display pieces. Oh, but that's so sad. I opt out for my $80 Casio as opposed to my, my Sportura here for more practical purposes. But that definitely says something about chronographs in a modern setting. But guys, those are our thoughts. Let us know how you use your chronographs. I'm definitely curious. I try to use mine as much as possible because I have it. But I try not to force myself. But guys, tell us how you use your chronographic watches. I'd love to know. If you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. If you disliked it, that's okay too. There's a subscribe button down there. You can hit that if you want to see more content like this. We have a ton of watch videos up. So if you're curious about some comparisons, reviews, go to our channel and check those out. If there's something on there that you want to see, let us know in the comments below here. And we'd love to take your ideas. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye. See ya.